I did do my time, yes. Well, we do have the draft here for game number 1. And this is, of course, Saturday Showdown once again. And NS RedForce, they select first pick to start off the first game.
A lot of respect given to Andil with the bard ban. We have seen some early bard bans, but it definitely is a bit player-specific. But Andil has proven himself to be warranted as a player. You have to respect ban that. With Kiwoom DRX being on the second pick side, I feel like it kind of has just often been, we're banning the OPs. So, you know, Karma, Rumble,
Orianna.
Could well be.
Orianna currently 6-1 here at the LCK. She is first pickable. She goes with a whole host of different junglers. She wins lane. There is no downside.
Yeah. So it probably is. That potentially leaves like a Pantheon first pick. Going over to Nongshim. Something they can prioritize there. They actually banned the Pantheon, so I guess it is Orianna first pick. That we'll see coming out. There is Ryze available. There is also Azir in terms of matching it. For Ucal, definitely picks we know he can play and be comfortable on. And the question is, what are you going to pair them up with? Obviously, that Nocturne's already gone away.
Oh.
Going for the Jarvan instead.
Oh?
So, I mean, it won't allow the Orianna Jarvan combo to come through, but a little surprising. We often expect to see the Orianna really heavily prioritized, as you said.
Yeah, it is definitely pretty interesting. And now they're hovering the Vi, which is not Xinjiao. Again, Xinjiao kind of fits into a lot of different things. Even hovering the Ezreal. And they're going to pick it just straight up here for LazyFeel.
I wonder how much Kiwoom DRX are saying, like, no, they just want the Orianna. Because they go for the Ezreal, which is like, look, we want an AD carry who can get out of Cataclysm. I wonder if they were, like, so put off by it that, like, maybe we need to go something like Azir. But no, they just pick up the Orianna, which I think makes sense. Orianna Jarvan going over would be pretty hard to deal with. But we end up in the situation where Nongshim get Ryze, Jarvan, Jayce. So having the Ryze, who can obviously realm warp up towards the top side and play for the Jayce, is big. But you're playing into the Yorick. So if you don't manage to influence that lane, we know what the Yorick can do once he starts getting some levels, once he gets the ult available. And playing the Ryze into Orianna, how much are you actually going to get to be able to move is the big question. Now, second rotation, AD carry is going to be targeted by Kiwoom DRX. And I imagine just trimming the jungle pool that Zinzao you were talking about earlier, likely going to get taken away.
Yeah, definitely seems like a good idea. They already took away the Nocturne. So there's the Xinjiao. You could consider maybe another good ball carrier, but, you know, the premium ones are definitely...
You go Vi, you go Wukong.
Yeah.
Those are the ones you could ban. Don't have to. You could also ban towards support. We've seen a lot of, like, Ezreal Neeko come out, to be honest. We've also seen, I mean, the Anivia could also be a threat if you're worried about that. We'll see. Yunara banned as well here. Actually going for the Neferi. So something we obviously have seen a little bit. Did see Raptor play it yesterday. A little bit of an unfortunate play on that one. But generally, when we've seen this have momentum, you know, Pioshik had a couple phenomenal games this year so far in the pick. But not the highest prio jungler, that is for sure. And it is going to be that Ezreal Neeko coming through. So a good amount of poke between them, but it does commit you pretty early to that bot lane and keeping the jungle pick hidden in this situation for Kiwoom DRX. Kind of interesting. Willer definitely a player who I think can branch out a bit more with his jungle picks.
I was trying to read his lips when he was on the camera. It kind of looked like he was saying Wukong. But we'll have to wait and see. And that's definitely one of the good ones that's left with the Orianna. The Anivia you were mentioning is ready to go. That's going to be picked up by Lehends again. He is 2-0 on the pick.
A lot of terrain picked up here already. And honestly, it can be really hard for Neeko playing into terrain. I think Jhin makes sense. I think a longer range AD carry. Something like Jhin, something like Caitlyn that can sync up with the stun goes a long way. And it feels like maybe Kiwoom DRX just wanted to secure the Neeko and weren't really bothered about hiding the jungle pick, because if they're just going to go Vi,
Yeah.
doesn't really preserve much. Yeah, so I think for Kiwoom DRX, I think they're pretty happy with the solo lanes they ended up getting. But I think Nongshim, you know, the fact that they ended up getting like this Anivia, Jhin feels pretty good. You know, Lehends has been pretty fantastic in Anivia. Also, when you're playing Neeko specifically into this terrain, a lot of Neeko's play comes from like, you know, you use your rocket belt into the ult. You can be shut down so easily by terrain. We've seen a lot of Jarvans just ult the Neeko and then flag and drag out. And the Neeko just ends up like whiffing her ult completely as a result, unless you have flash. And if you flash to follow the Jarvan, you're only ulting the Jarvan most of the time. You know, the fact you're also dealing with the Anivia wall, I think it's going to limit a lot of the power of this engage from coming through, which could end up being a problem. You know, and there is some long range elements on the side of Nongshim, right? You have the Jayce poke, you have the Jhin as well that can set things up. So I think those are some difficult tools, difficult aspects they have to deal with, but I do think that the Yorick Orianna is some strong solo lane backing they have to work with.
Yeah, I could definitely see a world where if those lanes do get ahead and you've got Orianna Vi, there is so much playmaking that you can do with the side of Kiwoom DRX, although great team fighting comp here on the side of NS RedForce. We'll have to wait and see how it goes when we get there as we hop into the rift for game number 1.
Oh, I like this. No, never mind. To be fair, I think if you're running in lane, there's not as much you can do. He is using the ward at least to try and give them a lot of pressure in lane. This is a competitive 2v2, the Ezreal Neeko into the Jhin Anivia. So having the ward control the rush makes a big difference. I thought they were going to go for like some potential cheese in the bot lane. You know, like you land the Ryze W level 1, set up the Anivia stun Jhin route. That's a kill. But no, it's just for a ward. So, you know, we've seen a little bit more reintroductions, not as much in the LCK, but we saw a bit of First Stand, some other regions as well, of level 1 strategies, because we thought they were kind of gone with how quickly the game starts. But it does mean that like if you go for like a rapid level 1, like you target bot lane or something with the mid laner coming down, there's not much the enemy team can do to respond if you're proactive in that regard.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good idea and a good evolution of the game after the changes. Did take a little bit longer than I think we expected, as barrier going to be used here by LazyFeel after he gets hit by the stun. So down a summoner already. Our pre-show was definitely mentioning how LazyFeel, a great AD carry in his own right, but can struggle in the laning phase. So curious to see if he can get through this one against Lehends and Taeyoon.
Yeah, Lehends already just trying to have as much control of these brushes as possible with that sweeper. And just trying to choke out the vision makes it so much harder to deal with Anivia when you're trying to fire skill shots blind. And this is a very skill shot based lane, as the Ezreal Neeko already Andil really down in terms of health. And the way you got to think about it with this Anivia, you essentially have 2 health bars. You know, even with 2 champions in the bot lane, you just can't cut through the Anivia's second health bar quick enough unless you have the jungler there. So, you know, if you're trading evenly in terms of health, you have that backup health bar on demand. We do see the Orianna having a great run of form right now.
Yeah, she just kind of does everything, and there's not a lot of good punishing picks into her nowadays in this very kind of stale control mage meta, at least for game 1 of Fearless. Once we get to games 2 and 3, we kind of see more interesting stuff. We've seen a lot of Annie. We even saw Hui yesterday.
Yeah, I think Andil just nearly died. Or at least being some. He dodged that Jhin W, but if that hit, he gets stunned, and the 4th shot was ready.
Yeah.
I was a little concerned. But you know, he dodged it, so I...
Just dodge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt your point, because he did just dodge it. But
he almost didn't just dodge it, so...
Well, I'm sure if he didn't, you would have picked it up. But it was a little delicate. I was a little holding my breath on that one. Oh, Scout having the ghost.
Yeah, and Flash, actually, to get away from Willer. Nice early gank here. Andil also nearby with Flash. I mean, yeah, it looks like he's just going to back away on the minimap which is smart, but that's definitely a lot of pressure already in the mid lane here.
Double sum secured, so not really ideal for Scout. Obviously go on the Ghost, and a lot of times you can Ghost back to lane as well, so you don't miss out on as much, but here he's just going to have to walk back. Obviously with Home Guard it's not too bad, but compared to Ucal who can just teleport, he will be missing out on a bit here. Not too much overall.
We have this combo keeps happening into Andil, and Lehends is showing off his expertise on Anivia.
Yeah, I think specifically in this lane, like I was thinking something like Anivia Kate or Anivia Jhin would feel good here, and you kind of seeing like having that setup, just working off each other's CC, really powerful for punishing here. And for the Ezreal Neeko, you know, it's all about landing those consistent skill shots yourselves. So the minions are in the way, and with Jhin having that pushing power, that's often been the case in this lane so far. They've shoved it in, the minions are kind of blocking LazyFeel and Andil from doing anything, and as a result, they're the ones on the rough side of the matchup.
How do we feel about no cleanse on LazyFeel in the Neeko lane against Ryze and Anivia Jhin?
I think it's fine. You know, if you're playing Ezreal, I think there's some champions. I think Ezreal gets more of a pass than other champions, and I think there's some champions where like you need cleanse. Like Leona is one of them. I think into Anivia, that you know, if you get hit by Anivia's stun as an Ezreal, you've already done something wrong.
Well, what if you get rooted by Ryze?
I mean, again, Ryze is pretty short range, right? If he's running up to you and using the empowered route, then again,
you've done something wrong.
Yeah, I think
in a bad position.
The problem is, like, this is always the balance, is that you take cleanse, because it's great for team fights at avoiding these stuns, but then when it comes to lane, not having the barrier makes it so much harder to trade, and we see it often used for tempo in these trades, so there is a big trade-off in terms of decision. Oh.
Yeah, there's no flash here on the Ryze, so they're just going all in on the Ryze, but they're not quite able to take him out, and now Ucal is in a really rough spot, has to flash away. And maybe he gets away. Sponge got a little
Lehends might flash.
minion blocks there, and yeah, I think eventually Ucal just dies here. Should be first blood. They will give it over to Sponge on the Jarvan, and that 400 gold goes to him.
Scout, just the power of Ryze, having the phase rush, and also the movement speed you get from your passive as well, able just to zip away from that gank and survive, despite not having flash available. It's just kind of crazy, the movement speed you can get. And they just don't have the damage to explode him. It's like, look, he just runs. And then he's no longer a target because he gets the tower. They end up being able to turn it around onto Ucal. And with Lehends committing the flash, easy pickup there. So a lot burnt from Kiwoom DRX in terms of summoners on top of that. It was actually 2 flashes for 1.
Yeah.
And they lose out on the play, which feels really bad.
Yeah, you saw that Willer actually had to flash away from the initial Anivia stun down in the bottom side of the play, and so he just didn't have his flash later on. Didn't need it later on, but now he doesn't have it at all. As I don't think I've seen a single root land from the Neeko as well. Andil has not really been hitting those. He's been trying to fight back after getting stunned and attacked a bunch, but hasn't been able to do much.
Having a tough time so far.
Ooh, nice angle here from Lehends. Nice amount of burst damage does go in a LazyFeel, but a good trade back. And now Andil might be in a little bit of trouble. Just trying to dodge everything, I guess, as the True Shot Barrage is, of course, going to hit the Jhin. The stun misses. A huge amount of burst. Follows up with the 4th shot from Taeyoon. But LazyFeel is alive, at least.
I think it makes it very clear, though, that if that stun did hit, that was a dead Ezreal for sure. A lot of damage coming through, and I think the resistance from the Kiwoom DRX bot lane not really just hitting that hard. Some missed skill shots really costing them there in that situation. The root, once again, not connecting, unfortunately. And it feels like Taeyoon and Lehends just getting the better of them once more. Sponge now able to take the dragon as a result. And a bit of a gold lead opening up as well.
Yeah, he tried to do that earlier on, take the dragon, but there was a play brewing in mid, so they took the first blood instead, but now they'll get it. We got Ocean Drake on the way next. Ucal still no flash, but he is relatively fast, and he is also going to run his way out of this one. They're trying to get the egg out of Lehends, and they're not even going to be able to do that. As Lehends is slowed up once again, but they don't want to overcommit because, of course, it's Anivia.
Yeah. Makes it so difficult to commit more. Oh, Sponge.
Yeah, I'm trying to collapse onto him. No shockwave, though. A little bit of burst.
Yeah, don't think we'll have had the damage alone to ult and chase him and finish him off. Can't say one thing, though. King in the top lane, gotten some plates already, doing well in this matchup. Obviously, early, we often see the Jayce do well, but once that level 6 hits, the Yorick can really just take over, but Rich hasn't really seemingly swung it back yet. And, you know, we have had some times where things haven't gone as swimmingly for the Yorick. You know, we'd have Jayce get a solo kill as the Jayce in that matchup the other day. So, see how things pan out there. But this was the point of strength, really, for Kiwoom DRX, was the solo lanes. I feel like having the Orianna, having the Yorick, and as of yet, hasn't really amounted.
Yeah. I just think the individual play, as Andil is once again, he's going to have to flash to get away, and the curtains are opened up. He's in a lot of trouble here. No heal available, and Scout is here, and they give that kill over to Taeyoon. So that is a very nicely fed Jhin now.
Just really good setup there from the Lehends, catches him out, and then they just kind of start walking him down. You know, I say walking, the Lehends is flapping. But Taeyoon just sees the angle, gets the flash. The trap that was in his way, I think, really was the nail in his coffin. Now Kingen on the receiving end of some bad trades, so things gone better for Rich.
They're trying to dive him here.
I think he might be extremely dead.
He does have flash. He's trying to get over, but he flashes and just gets hit by the shockwave anyway. At least Willer doesn't get a assist. That's really the only positive from that.
Yeah, I think you could have just saved the flash.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty obvious you're going to die there. Speaking of going to die...
Yeah, Lehends is doing a good job of baiting Andil into this fight, which for some reason they elected to continue having.
I think this is the most annoying thing, is when Anivia is just like behind your turret, harassing you, and because Anivia has egg, it's so hard to really do anything about it. Andil with no flash is just an easy target, goes down, and this bot lane is really starting to suffer. Almost 1,000 gold lead now for Taeyoon in this matchup.
And Scout is he's on a mission to get those turret plates. He's not going to get the second one, though. A bit unfortunate there.
This one was pretty straightforward. You know, he tried to do the jump into the flash to get distance, but it's a big circle, and he just went from one side to the other.
Yes, yes, it is.
And then here, yeah, here's the annoying Anivia on the other side of the turret.
They didn't have to trade with him, though. They could have just left.
The problem is, when Anivia's there, you always wonder, like, is the jungler here? And you have to assume the answer is yes, but sometimes you're like, the jungler can't always be here. But whenever you go aggressive, the jungler's always there. That's how it always is.
Yeah,
and
especially when your team is diving the top lane.
Yes. So I agree, the answer was back away. But unfortunately, they'll learn that lesson for game 2.
Yeah. This has been a lot of the issue for Kiwoom DRX, is that their laning phase has always been, it's been very rough. LazyFeel definitely has his issues with that. He's getting better over time, but also Rich, he's fantastic in the team fights, but the laning has never been his strong suit. So for them, I feel like it really is get through the laning phase and they can challenge Gnomeshin, but they're taking a lot of damage here in the laning phase, which is a problem. And Andil now, the support has to be blocked for. Oh, he doesn't even block it! And Andil gets hit right at the last moment there. And now they're diving the top lane once again.
Okay,
this time not under the turret. So nice trade back for Kiwoom DRX, but bot lane is a disaster.
That is the cost of burning your flash before the shockwave, so Kingen pays for it. And Kiwoom DRX are doing something at least, but this bot lane... Well, I do have some good news. I think the tower's not going to last much longer, and this will be over. What actually did so much damage to him?
Just everything.
There was something that just hit him for a lot of damage there.
I think maybe it was the Deadly Flourish that we didn't quite... No, like, he used it.
Maybe the bouncing grenade?
Yeah, maybe.
Those sometimes fly way up in the air.
Yeah.
And it's hard to see them, but like that burst of damage came through, and I was like, did Lehends E him? But even that doesn't do that much damage because he's put a lot of points in
Yeah.
I mean, he just isn't doing that much damage at this point. I don't think he's put that many points in his W at this point, to be fair, because you put 3 points E in lane. But that base of damage was surprised me and got him down. And then LazyFeel blocks 3 shots, but obviously not the most important one.
Geometry is difficult. Oh, they're going to find LazyFeel down to the bottom side. He is so dead. And now they're going to find a couple more. He gets 2 flashes for 1 stun. Lehends is just... He's got the 2+1.
Wow. And we see a lot of discipline there from Scout, not flashing for the kill onto Andil. I think came to a very important conclusion. This Neeko is probably worth like 70 gold.
Yeah.
Well, not quite 70, but close enough. And
maybe
so,
like 170?
Honestly, probably less. Maybe like 150 or something.
Yeah.
It's not much. But it's like, I'm not flashing into this bush to chase down this Neeko for that much gold. There's a wave bot lane. I'll take that instead. But the bot lane being punished once again, and the whole team kind of bleeding out on that. And so what is the response? Guys, let's kill top lane again. I don't hate it.
This time they have a ward, but just their presence is going to allow Rich to at least get some damage done to that turret. This LazyFeel is being bullied. We're going to see this Rift Herald actually maybe start it up here. We have a TP pretty deep from an Orianna, which they might just want to turn onto as one ult is going to hit an Anivia. Maybe they take down Lehends here, and they will be able to do just that. A ton used to get this kill, but at least they do take down Lehends in the play.
I like the play, though. You know, picking up Lehends, they have the damage there to get through the egg. Nongshim not really set up and coordinated around it. You can see all 3 lanes being pushed by them. And Kiwoom DRX just pushing, get the Herald, get the kill. Considering the gold lead that we have for Nongshim here, feels like a pretty big flub to allow this to happen. And Taeyoon just missed a cannon there. That was also a flub.
Yeah. Well, at least Kingen, you can't miss turret plates if you're doing enough damage to them. So he's going to get, looks like 3 down in the bottom lane there. Yep. So he's getting pretty fed once again. Everybody has a gold lead on Nongshim.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main one is the AD carries.
Yes.
And especially because, you know, it depends on the gym build, but some gym builds, you can get to this mid-game point where it's like, okay, you're just not doing that much damage. Taeyoon, you know, he's got Ghostblade, Stormrazor, so it's not like he's built some of the more egregious gym builds we've seen.
Yeah.
But, like, this is when Ezreal's peak, you know? Peak of your life, when you get, like, the Triforce Manamune. I know Ezreal can still be very strong later, right? But into a crit AD carry, you want to be feeling great at this point. And if you're this far behind, it just feels so bad.
Yeah, it's definitely a big issue. I'm not really sure. You know, outside of that nice play they got on the Rift Herald, that was kind of like a little bonus play. But if they didn't get that, I mean, they'd be so far behind the 8 ball, as it is, of course, Hextech Soul. And,
I mean, that's the big issue as well. The threat of the soul, so they have 2 minutes until that dragon. I think the big thing for me is they need LazyFeel on his spike. They need to get that mirror mana completed. They have 2 minutes to do so. He has all the components of it. If you get that, that's a big spike to play around. And then you can kind of leverage his strength, and you just need to find a target and explode them.
well, they're going to find Andil, Nongshim that is, and not quite get him down. A lot used into this fed Jarvan, though, and immediately Willer's going to fall. Andil goes next, and not really much of a semblance of a team fight there for Kiwoom DRX. Just a couple of picks here for Nongshim. And at least what you can say is that the death timers aren't too long. They should be up for the dragon. But some more gold to go into the pockets of Kiwoom, or rather Nongshim, as Lehends is gonna just die. Nice little pick there by Ucal.
Find something at least. But yeah, I just feel like Kiwoom DRX just kind of caught in the river, napping, and an easy pick up for Nongshim there to take them down. A minute away until dragon. I'm really hoping LazyFeel's got a lot of money sitting in his pockets, otherwise they're not in for a good time. And sadly, I'm just not sure that's the case.
Well, he's gonna back now. We'll see if he does pick up that Muramana. He's got the tier fully stacked.
Okay, actually, I lied. So it's bad news for Kiwoom DRX. He didn't have the money.
Yeah.
But we'll look at this play first. So Andil was just kind of trying to posture in the river. But this Anivia just so easily sets up on you when you don't have flash. And it's like they were trying to have this presence here, but for what? You know, what are you playing for? And also, you just don't really have the power between your support jungle to hold up here. This was a nice pick, though, from Ucal. Lehends just caught unawares. But going back, so I said it was going to be Storm Razor. It's not. It's Rapid Fire Cannon.
Yeah, he was joking.
Yeah, it was a prank.
He just had a little BF sword in his pocket, just hiding there. It's like a lot of the extra gold he got. He just purchased that one as Kingen going to get caught by the ghoulie wall. But guess what? LazyFeel is dead over on the Raptors. So maybe they get Kingen here, but no AD carry for Kiwoom DRX. Still, they have a nice front line into Sponge. A ton of damage with the combo of Orianna and Vi. And somehow, Noshim, I mean, they had such a good setup on this dragon, and yet not enough.
Oh, they're using the Combat Herald as well.
Yeah, I think they've just got to give this one away.
This is a good move.
They don't have a jungler. So, I mean, that's a lot of damage into Rich, and he is going to get walled off here, and there's the flash out of Rich. But again, no smite here for Noshim.
They just need the Maiden to kind of zone, you know. The ghouls doing a lot of damage. They get the dragon.
Lehends might go down to egg. Ooh, there it is! Gonna get hit by the True Shot barrage as, yeah, not this time with the Realm Warp. And honestly, all of a sudden, Kiwoom DRX is right back in the game.
A great fight from Kiwoom DRX. Unfortunately, it does start with LazyFeel going down. Good route from Taeyoon, so that was a little bit unfortunate. But this is two of your main carries not being here when the fight starts.
Sponge the fight, had to flash away, and he's just more free food.
Wow.
What happened to all of those gold leads? Now it's really mixed up. Ucal is very fed, and yes, Taeyoon is still doing very well, but there's a much more even game now as they're looking for Kingen down in the bottom lane. No shockwave when the Orianna eventually gets there, but there's no ability for Kingen to get out of this. And
they're just falling apart.
Get a kill streak now. 3 kills for Rich.
The goal lead is only 400. It's 1,000 lead for Ucal, 800 for Rich. The only lead we have is for Taeyoon. And I'm going to be honest, he kind of misspent some of his funds. Okay. The rapid fire second, we're not big fans.
LazyFeel did a fantastic job beating here.
Yeah. I think so. Noshim have made a series of errors consecutively in this game, and I think they just haven't realized yet, so they still think they're like massively ahead.
Yeah.
And they're still trying to play as if they're massively ahead, and they are now just dying. And now, before that fight, LazyFeel backed. He didn't have enough money before the dragon fight to buy his Manamune. He had to buy Ionians, which feels really bad.
Yeah.
Now he has his spike. And even though Taeyoon's ahead of him in terms of gold, he hasn't finished his third item, so...
And here we go, an engage from Andil, going to be the first very strong one, as they're going to get that flash out of Lehends, and LazyFeel still shelling damage into him. This is a very important replay, by the way, guys.
Oh, the little cats on the egg.
Wow. This is why skins are important, by the way. Yeah. This is why you need skins.
I think this is why Rich has really come back into this game.
Yeah. It's really the difference maker, I have to say. The egg being attacked by some cats. I'm pretty sure some cats, if you like roll an egg at them, they get really scared as well, and they like try to swat at it, you know?
I know, aren't they really like scared of cucumbers?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They think it's a snake or something.
See, I've seen this, but I've never tested it with my cats.
Yeah.
Because I'd feel too bad.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to do that.
No.
Also, I do think, now that I'm remembering it, I think some cats actually have kind of like the motherly instinct with the eggs, where they try to take care of it.
Brendan, oh my god.
Yeah.
The pop-up on the side of the screen had Storm Razor for Taeyoon, and then he refunded it and went IE. But for a second, I thought he went like, oh my...
We're going to need to get a new analyst up here if that happens.
Oh my god. I was so nervous.
Yeah. At least it's not Proto Belt Jhin.
That's the thing.
Rocket Belt.
Now at least he has IE. Now, this is kind of like you bridge and you get to this point and you're like, cool. Now we've gotten over the gap.
Yeah. all of those mistakes we made, it's okay. It's not great. I mean, Rich is extremely fed at level 16 after...
Oh, no, this doesn't fix the mistakes, but at least Jhin is strong now.
Well, I mean, if they were fighting before he had IE, I think legitimately they could lose a lot of those fights. Even fights, but Ucal gonna proto pelt, rocket pelt as Orianna away from the danger. And LazyFeel says, I'm just here to hit turrets and bait the enemy team once again. Drake up in 50 seconds, and Kiwoom DRX say, we're going to have better position on it this time.
Yeah, I mean, really hard for Nongshim to get access right now. Scouts pushing the side lane, uncontested, but I mean, who cares? When Hextech Dragon is up and available, oh, they're looking for Kingen. Kingen?
I mean, this is on vision. There's a ward right there, but it doesn't really matter if you're getting a free inner.
Could have just killed him. If Willa pressed ult, I think Kingen was just dead, but they opted not to. They played the reserved, controlled way. If Kanavi's watching this, he would not understand at all.
Why didn't he go in there? It doesn't make any sense. LazyFeel did just arcane shift over the Anivia wall into the ult, but he's got backup, so it's okay.
Kanavi would understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. And again, the Strake is up right now. It just spawned, so... Hey, got to get over there. Did see that Rich pushed out the top lane, so that's in a good spot for Kiwoom. And now we're just going to have a lot of posturing around this objective.
Yeah, Kiwoom DRX kind of gave up a lot of... Oh, TP flank coming in.
This is from a Yorick, but the flash on in, the combo on a Taeyoon, and all of that damage in Nongshim is just gone. And now the follow-up from Andil is perfect, catches the front line. Down goes Kingen, Lehends can't do anything. Scout is chunked out, and it's another Drake for the side of Kiwoom. Although they're heading to the Baron, actually. They want the bigger objective instead, or maybe just another kill. As Lehends, no flash, and no health bar, no egg. So that's going to be a bonus kill, and so much more on the board here for Kiwoom DRX.
Yeah, and they're playing it safe. They're not going for the Baron. I think this is the right call. It's risky with Sponge still up and available, with Taeyoon respawning with his ultimate, and with some lower health bars. You could definitely throw the game at Baron. So I think it was 100% the right call. You get the mid tower, you get more kills, you get the dragon. This flank, look how short, you can see him over there. This is not a long flank, but the ult comes in after the flash. The mini cataclysm from the Yorick. That's why you flank with the Yorick. The big cataclysm comes out, but it's too late. And then Andil gets a great Neeko ult, and the follow-up is there. Just a very confident engage coming through from Kiwoom DRX. And then Nongshim is just a little lazy, I feel like, after that. Lehends is just trying to hold mid and doesn't respect Kiwoom DRX. He's like, what are they going to do? Kill me? Yes. That's exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah, I think he learned. And now look at the damage out of this Orianna. It's just ridiculous. Even LazyFeel is getting into it now, as he's gotten some money on top of it all. Only Andil goes down. It's a very messy fight. They're going to take down this front line. Willer will have to pay, but LazyFeel just gets to do whatever he wants, and Taeyoon can't take out Ucal. And all of a sudden, this Ezreal in the early game that struggled so much doesn't matter at all.
Looked the wrong way. TP's going to get Kingen out, but bear in mind...
Or maybe he thought he was TPing to that turret? Oh, the Nongshim fans.
But
yeah, that's we can understand.
Yorick wasn't even there. Yorick was not present at this fight. And they still end up winning. We see Ucal gets rid of it. They just explode the Jarvan. Big aspect of your engagement there. LazyFeel's flashing on a Lehends to kill him. And Taeyoon, because he doesn't get focused first and foremost, he's actually getting damage off. And he actually has damage. But LazyFeel is just playing draw your sword Ezreal. He's up in the faces of his opponents, and it is working. He is like
his bayonet.
Jin's, he's struggling with the bullets, he's dropping them on the floor, he's trying to reload, and just the Ezreal is in his face like...
Yeah.
Hard to miss the Mystic shot when he's right on top of you.
I also have to say Ucal is playing insanely well today.
Oh, yeah.
In this game, like every single play, he's doing the perfect thing you have to do on Orianna. Like the ults are hitting right on top of the Vi. He got that kill on the Lehends earlier. He played it out so well mechanically in that last very you know, mixed up fight there.
The predictions? The soup 15%ers?
Yeah.
What did they know?
What did they know?
What did they see?
They know about Ucal. They knew how he was going to play today. And as long as you can, you know, get through the laning phase, survive it at least, and hope for Notion to make some mistakes. The team fighting from Kiwoom has been very strong.
Yeah, I mean, dude, look, more damage from LazyFeel so far, and look at this gold difference. Barely over 500. And you think how big the gap was earlier in this game, it has been closed massively. So, Kiwoom DRX integrates. That was the one sore point, is, oh, your AD carry is way more fed than ours. I will say, Scout now has Actualizer, but that's this new, flashy, cool item that does a ton of damage. You know what's the OG damage item?
Death Cap?
Yeah, and that's what Ucal has. So that's a pretty good one.
Yeah. I do like his build where he went for the Proto Belt, but then he was like, no, you know what? I need damage. And he's got damage. There's not a lot of tanky members on the side of Nongshim either, as Lehends doesn't have a health bar. And
I like how Andil just walking backward and forward in the Blizzard, just like, yeah, I can tank it. He was wearing a sweater now.
Mm-hmm. He got some warm clothing.
Well, actually, he has a cloak. He has a Megaton cloak.
Oh, no. Sponge. Nice little wraparound from Willer. Just playing really well around the vision, really, to just chunk him out.
They don't chase because of the GA. Don't want to commit more and end up overextending. But Willer's just been playing so aggressive and making it wick, I was going to say. Nearly a caster kiss.
Yeah. Nice try. But not this time. I mean, he had Ucal nearby, so maybe feel like he can do whatever he wants. As now they're trying to get on top of Andil here. It's not going to work just yet, but with the Hexgate coming in, Sponge wants to get this down with the flag and drag, but now kind of moving away. Andil's going to flash as well, and now this front line is being taken down once again by Ucal. And Scout, nowhere for him to go. He's just trapped, and Notion just can't seem to put a single team fight together. Kiwoom DRX, they call the bluff, and they'll take the free Baron. Why not?
They try and force a pick, but it's onto a Neeko. A Neeko with Rocket Bell, with Flash, with Celestial Opposition, with all these tools to try and make it hard for you to kill her. And then by the time they actually get the Neeko, which, I mean, they don't actually kill the Neeko, but by the time they actually get on top of her, they've committed so many resources, and all of Kiwoom DRX are there, and they don't want a pick. They want to fight. It's like Andil's here. They end up chasing down. Again, so many tools to just make it difficult to catch the Neeko. And the person at the forefront is a Jayce, dead immediately. Then you have the Ryze trapped in the Ghoulie wall, who takes like an hour to kill it. And it's just such an easy cleanup. And again, Kiwoom DRX are just like, yeah, we'll bring all our members here and have a fight. Look how far away Taeyoon was there. He was in mid lane.
Yeah.
3 dragons in pocket now. 1 away from Hextech Soul. But I don't even know if they're going to need that, because right now they're just winning every fight.
Yeah, I mean, the last time Nongshim won a fight, I don't even know when that was. Like, Lehends is basically dead here. The Mystic Shot is going to miss. And, you know, I don't know. Nongshim just fall apart. Kiwoom DRX are just running the rift. And they look like the much stronger team right now in terms of straight-up ability and gameplay. And yes, the wallets are pretty heavy, but they're using them really well. Taeyoon's going to be pushed away. LazyFeel. Ooh! He's going to get away, though. And he gets slammed with a shovel. Taeyoon takes one to the dome. And that's going to be the end of this game. 32.5 minutes. Kiwoom DRX just put him in the dirt. And it's not close after about 15 minutes into the game.
They just absolutely crushed them. And think of the lead Nongshim had. This game should have been a done deal. But a series of misplays, a series of comebacks of picks from Kiwoom DRX, and the crowd absolutely erupts over this one. It's only one game in the series, but it's such a good start in a matchup where so many, us included,